If your project is open from the last lesson, close it and open the project file 6F. I've cleaned up the levels, ducking the music for the next two interview clips.
If you ever saw that movie Shall We Dance, that was me.
And adjusted the interview levels throughout. I encourage you to check where I place the keyframes. So the levels are all set for the interview clips, but I noticed one issue that's worth taking a look at together. In the timeline ruler, click or scrub to 29 seconds and hit spacebar to play.
It took over my life.
Did you hear it? Double-click that interview audio and hit play in the viewer.
It took over my life.
There's a loud click at the end of the word took, and I think we need to get rid of it. Human speech can get kind of messy, and it's part of the editor's job to clean it up so noises like this don't get distracting. If we zoom in as far as we can and place the playhead at 1520, we find that the click overlaps 2 frames. We could simply split the clip with the blade tool and trim out the noise by 1 frame on either side, but let's see how it would be done with keyframes. The playhead moves in full frame increments by default, and you might think that's what you're stuck with. Set a keyframe to the left of the noise and hit right arrow twice to advance 2 frames and set another keyframe. Now we could set a single keyframe in the middle and then drop the level. But with such a steep slope, we can see that the first part of the sound will still be at 0 dB, essentially full volume. So control-click the middle keyframe and select Clear. What we really want is a pattern of 4 keyframes, like we've been using, to create a shelf that squashes the whole of the sound. But how do we do that with increments of a full frame? Final Cut lets you set keyframes and even in and out points at subframe key levels, up to 1/100th of a frame. There are 2 ways to do this in the viewer. Hold the Shift key and in the viewer ruler, drag to just after the noise. Then hit the level keyframe button. Or hold the Option key to temporarily select the pen tool and click just before the beginning of the sound. We now have subframe keyframes bracketing the sound and can drag the segment to the basement. Click back in the timeline to play.
It took over my life.